In my journey from there to here, I never planned to be an author. I was content as a pastor's wife and a worship leader at our church, as a mom and a grandma, even though I loved books and began my very first journal when I was 7 years old, a crayon diary of the kittens in the haymow. I never envisioned myself as an author. No, never. Words were my dad's thing. Dad was a 9th grade English teacher who promised the class each year that if they all got 100% on their weekly spelling tests, he would stand on his head, on his desk. Dad was a bit fanatical about words. The summer I was 16, I was at a camp for 1 month. I sent weekly letters home to my parents. On mail day, during the 3rd week of camp, I was surprised to receive 2 letters from home. I opened Mom's letter first, saving Dad's letter for last, a rare treat to be savored. Mom's letter was filled with stories of the new baby rabbits in the hutch by the barn, of the green beans almost ready to be picked, and what she was bringing to the potluck at church that Sunday. Ripping open the second envelope, I was puzzled when I took out the 2 letters I had sent to them the previous weeks, both neatly corrected by my dad. The following edits were made in red pen: an added apostrophe, several commas, and a note scribbled in his handwriting on when to use loose and lose. In closing, and written in the side margin, love, Dad. Like I said, a bit fanatical about words and their proper use. Fast forward to 2009, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I remember flipping open my phone to call my husband using slow motion fingers. When he answered the phone, no words would come out. How was I going to tell him that I had the same disease that killed both his parents? All I could do was sob. Cancer had stolen my words. I began treatment. The cancer had been caught early, and prognosis was good. But then my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma, followed soon afterwards by my mom with stage 3 ovarian, which quickly digressed to stage 4. Suddenly, all of us were seeing oncologists and dealing with the editing pen of cancer, slashing with red marks on all our lives. For us, cancer became cancel. Cancel your plans, cancel your dreams, cancel your life. After my parents started treatment, I discovered the words that had been silenced from my tongue on the day of my diagnosis began to bubble up inside me and refused to be silenced. I began blogging, writing, telling our family's story. At first, I would ask Dad and Mom to proofread my posts because one of my strongest beliefs was, and still is, that people's stories belong to them. But soon, Dad told me I didn't need to check with them any longer, that I could write whatever I wanted. What? What did he mean that I could write whatever I wanted? What about the proper use of lay and lie and dangling prepositions? And what if, heaven forbid, I had an apostrophe out of place? But then I realized something. I realized they wanted me to record their story, to give words to their suffering, to inscribe their names onto paper and to declare, we were here. And the seed of a second act was planted. One of the greatest gifts we give those who are suffering is to stand with them and announce, I will be your witness. Later, when I began talking to those in the publishing industry about writing our family's story, I was told politely and in no uncertain terms that with 1.6 million people diagnosed with cancer each year, I was not famous enough to represent the cancer community. Another red pen. I will spare you the long details, but in May 2017, God chose to swing wide the door of our family's story when my book was traditionally published with the title, Under a Desert Sky, Redefining Hope, Beauty, and Faith in the Hardest Places. Cancer could not silence the words. And now I teach a workshop to other cancer survivors, helping them record their words. I have taught survivors from stage 1 to stage 4, those who are newly diagnosed and those who have been survivors for many years. I have stood as a witness to their brave stories. Perhaps you have known the red pen of cancer, the editing voice inside your head that tells you that your story is not valuable. It is a lie. Give words to your story. There are 1.6 million people diagnosed with cancer each year. We don't need fewer stories, we need more. Survivor stories are the foundation of the organization A Second Act, as well as being the foundation of my second act. You see, I discovered my dad was right. There is an important difference between loose and lose. Of all the things the red pen of cancer has taken, please don't lose your story. Don't ever allow cancer to erase your words. Thank you.